at the Comedy Store, and in one room someone's doing their bit about trans people, and then I get down the hall and there's someone on stage going, well, I guess I got to do my bit about trans people. Like, no, you don't. You don't. We've lost a tremendous amount of democratic-leaning ideas and movements. So whether they knew it or not, that's what they were spearheading. So now it's reality, and you want to still keep kicking them? Go ahead.
I don't know that the comedians have had that much power.
Are you f***ing out of your mind?
Don't affect ours. But we have blinders on when it comes to gender identity. Even people who are otherwise progressive will mask it as compassion. They'll say things like, well, what if someone transitions and then regrets it? Look, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't happen. Of course it happens. It happens 3% of the time. 3% of the time that someone transitions, they then regret it and detransition. But I also read a story of lottery winners. 3% of people who have won the lottery have regretted it. The same percentage. Which shows me that the regret has nothing to do with gender identity. It just means 3% of people will never fucking be happy. That's what that means. Yeah. 3% of you are regretting buying tickets to this show. It's okay. I know who.
A retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Returns, in which Mr. Biden here makes some speculative comments about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, Melania Trump, and Donald Trump.
Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
Yeah.
And so I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know.
He didn't make these claims out of nowhere. They come from another journalist named Michael Wolff, who is a biographer that actually spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. But now here we are. And I've got $1 billion document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down, and if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
Fuck Black, fuck Quack, fuck Eddie, fuck Fab, fuck Lowe's, fuck Sada, fuck Spaz, fuck O'Delly, fuck Jay, fuck Sutter, fuck Smack, fuck the North. If the Mozzie niggas trippin', fuck that, fuck.
Though infinity beckons, I must leave behind my very heart.
Never has there been, never will there be another such as you. If leave you must, then let us depart together.
Say no more. It cannot be. It can never be. Where soars the silver surfer, there must he soar alone. I've seen galaxies crumble and new suns a-borning. But in every star, in every sun, I see her face.
Comic books.
I have nothing left except Spider-Man.
So we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
You want to see what Spider-Man #1 looks like?
I believe comics are our last link to an ancient way of passing on history.
The Thing. Is this dork made of orange rock like the rest of his body?
Here's the thing.
I'm looking for a Batman #14.
That's a very serious book.
I believe comics are a form of history that someone somewhere felt or experienced.
How do I know that it's not a cheap reprint?
Better not be jacking off to the Japanese comics, I swear to God.
It's a superhero secret.
It's impossible. Lois could never have Superman's baby.
Canticle Superman, number 77 with the 200s.
I guarantee he blows a load like a shot right through the back.
They haven't even discovered where kryptonite yet.
He's an alien, for Christ's sake. His Kryptonian biological makeup is enhanced by Earth's yellow sun. If Lois gets a tan, the kid can kick right through her stomach.
Then, of course, those experiences and that history got chewed up in the commercial machine, got jazzed up, made titillating cartoons for the sale rack.
You know they're all bullshit, right?
Trust me, true believer.
Any of you incels, QAnon, 4chan, Snyder Cut motherfuckers want to get out of line now? Anybody?
Hello, and welcome to this impromptu stream. Impromptu as in I decided I would do it this morning, and then I just finally got done with a bunch of stuff I had to do today. So now I'm doing it. Welcome. This is not a fun one. This is a disappointing one. This is one where gotta lay some bodies to rest. Seems like after I spent the day pondering on all the details of this and listening to the perspectives that matter in this. So you may have, if you've been around a while, you've probably heard me and or Bob of the Old Ways discussing Valiant Comics and our appreciation of them. Bob's been a fan for a long time. I just started reading Valiant for the first time last year, and I got into it hard. Okay, I started reading me the shit out of some Valiant comics. Valiant being characters like Bloodshot, the Vin Diesel guy. But he's actually, it's a compelling character generally. Exo Manowar, fucking the Harbinger, Faith. There's several like Archer and Armstrong. That's probably my favorite one, Archer and Armstrong. Excuse me, had pizza. So, and by the way, also twice I've had as a one of my favorite guests that I've ever had on the show, AJ Ampadu, who is he's currently and has been a writer of Shadow Man, which is another Valiant property. He was the writer on the previous run. He was a writer on Ninjak versus Roku, and he's a writer on this current new iteration that they're doing. So they're basically doing their version of the Absolute Ultimate situation. They've explicitly said that's what they're doing. We talked about it a bit last year, or whenever it was that they did the Road to Resurgence storyline, and it all led to I don't remember the title of that fucking thing, but the way it ended was like multiverse shenanigans, where all the characters got kind of transported to different places in different worlds or whatever that they haven't, like kind of fish out of water situations where it's not exactly like the Absolute Ultimate thing, because these are the same canonical characters that they've always been, or at least since the 2012 relaunch, which is very much beloved by a lot of people that have read it. So at the end of the storyline, spoiler alert for y'all are gonna read it. At the end of it, they all end up kind of transported to different parts of the multiverse or whatever. For instance, Bloodshot ends up in a world where it's kind of overrun by vampires, and that's a new setting for Bloodshot. He's never been in a situation where he's fighting vampires, right? So that's kind of the same thing with every character. Every character is now in a situation where they're dealing with something they're not used to. So it's a good jumping on point for new readers. Presumably that's what they sold it as well as presumably something that people that already were into it can read. Kind of like Battle World. Yeah, it's called Valiant Beyond. That's so there's Absolute, Ultimate, and Beyond. That's the thing. Gordy, stop fucking doing stuff, dude. You're being annoying. Gordy's really upset by all this too. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Valiant's future is grim. I'll say that. It's always been. It has been for a long time. They're definitely an underdog. Valiant Comics are a good indicator of chuds in the comic space being dishonest and or not giving a shit about actual comics. Because if they loved comics, if they loved independent comics, which it's arguable, what does independent mean? they're not owned by a megacorp. They are owned by Alien Books, which is a company. But they've changed ownership several times. They've had a lot of false starts. They've had, so Valiant was created in the 90s by a guy you probably heard of named Jim Shooter. He was the editor-in-chief at Marvel for several years. And once he left from there in the 90s, he started Valiant as like a new, he wanted it to be kind of a new interconnected universe a la Marvel, but with all new characters that were a bit less superhero-y, but still, fantasy, science fiction, at foundations. Yeah, I never did read it back then. I did, ironically, have BLOODSHOT #1, the original BLOODSHOT #1. I just never even opened it. I don't remember where I got that, but it was in my collection at some point. Anyways, so yeah, the other day, I guess, BLOODSHOT #1, BLOODSHOT Beyond came out, #1, whatever it's called. And the writer that's on it, somebody I've never heard of. Yeah, he died like just within the last year. Yeah, no shit, man. Like the character, legitimately, despite what I'm about to get into, which is I'm going to be shitting on essentially the editorial team and definitely the writer of BLOODSHOT. I'm not going to sit here and paint a broad brush and say everybody that works at Valiant is a piece of shit, because I know for a fact that AJ Ampadu is not a fucking piece of shit, and he's an awesome guy. And I feel, it's unfortunate that he's even connected to this at all, in the sense that he's just writing a book that is also on Valiant. I hate that there's going to be a lot of people. I've been looking around. There's a lot of people that are done with Valiant. In their subreddit, there are a lot of people that are like, I can't, nah, and we'll look at why. So, one thing to note is Valiant Comics, just in the short time that I've read them, but I've read a good chunk of their catalog since 2012, from 2012 and to the last year. I've read a lot of that in the last year, right? So a lot. Very familiar with Valiant Comics now, and recently. There is a lot of lefty messaging, progressive ideas. There's a lot of, essentially every character, every storyline is in some way explored through a somewhat leftish lens to one degree or another, right? So BLOODSHOT being a nanite infused dead soldier who they can kind of reanimate and control, and he can put himself back together with the nanites in his blood and stuff like that. There's definitely commentary on government control and identity and things like, it's all in there, right? Some of it explicit, some of it not. Harbinger, absolutely some lefty messaging in that shit. Yeah, it's there, which is what makes this all the more disappointing. All right. So, this is a couple panels from BLOODSHOT Beyond #1. Let me pull this up. And content alert warning for for some, you'll see, man. And I want you guys feedback too. I'm confident, very, very confident, extremely confident that this is exactly what it reads like, and it was intended to read this way. So remember, BLOODSHOT is in a world where he's dealing with vampires. So he's, fighting some vampires here. He says the Yakuza's connection with the government promotes a marketing lobby to normalize blood consumption, and that's messing with the minds of the younger ones. They sell fake blood as a trendy drink. There are kids who want to be bitten because become vampires because their favorite influencer says they are one. And parents who force their children into that irreversible change just to feel modern and believing that they'll be thankful for it when they grow up. So I don't know if anybody needs me to explain this to you. I will, but I feel like most of you get it. You know, and I've looked at the different arguments. I've straw manned it. I mean, I steel manned it rather. Look for the steel man version of this. There was one person who foolishly in the subreddit was like, well, you know, they could be talking about anything that kids like to do, you know, that aren't good ideas, like the Tide Pod challenge or something. And it was like, dude, whose fucking parents were helping them do the Tide Pod challenge? That's fucking stupid. There's only one thing that applies to this, or this applies to. If you can name me any literal other thing, besides, I guess, vampires, but like as this is you know, context provided by Morgan, pointing this out, that the irreversible change being in bold letters like that, big bold letters, yikes. Exactly. Yeah, the messing with the minds of the younger ones, right? I haven't seen what Blurred said about it. I'm sure he did a fine job. And yeah, salute to him. It's yeah. And okay, so there it is. There's this came out. This is in an issue. There it is. But Alien Books / Valiant responded in a very, very fast, very quick amount of time. Within a couple hours, they had a response. It was almost perfect, but the part that's not perfect is so bad that fuck them. Okay. So let's look at that response. Right. An inherently cool concept. Bloodshot, blood. He's got nanites in his blood. There's vampire. Like, it's fucking, it writes itself. You don't need to and shouldn't add edgelord, not even fucking subtle bullshit messaging. All right. So I'll just read here. This is from Comic Book Club Live. Valiant just launched their new reader-friendly line of comics this week with Bloodshot, part of the Valiant Beyond initiative, taking the near-immortal nanite-powered weapon and pitting him against vampires powered by a variant of his own blood. But the celebration of a new line has hit a serious fumble, at least online, thanks to allegations of transphobic content in the issue. Yeah. So here's some more context, by the way. The rest of the issue, among other details, posits that vampires have moved to the poles to live in 6 months of darkness each year and have become handy working in space since they don't need to breathe. In addition, the book introduces negative class vampires who, in a desperate act, drink reptile blood, and their cellular pattern is reversed due to cold blood. They can only live in sunlight and never close their eyes. Other than this panel, as far as this issue, there's 4 issues, but at least in this first issue, other than that one panel we looked at, the idea of children becoming vampires against their will is not mentioned again. Okay? That is important context, because it'd be one thing if there was like a story that played out, right? That like somehow, like, oh, I see why this was mentioned. No, it's just shoved in there to say that. So Haunted Girl co-writer Ethan Sachs says, this is horrific. There's no way to read this as anything but bigotry, particularly with irreversible change bolded in the caption. So many of us creators and readers of comics love the ideals, as far removed as they sometimes feel from real life, of superheroes who fight oppression, not contribute to it. So Bloodshot #1 is written by Argentinian writer Mauro Mantella. I've never heard of him. Who previously worked with, maybe I did read his previous Valiant Bloodshot thing, but he previously worked with Valiant on Bloodshot Unleashed Reloaded. While not specifically referencing the panel in question, writer Denise Camp, who wrote Bloodshot Unleashed and is a fantastic writer who's been doing the Ultimates, right? He's moved on from Valiant. He's now working at Marvel, obviously, and DC. So he read it. Bloodshot would hate transphobes and throw himself in front of a hail of bullets to protect a trans kid without hesitation. Just FYI. And that's the read I get from Bloodshot previously as well. So Alien Books responded. Alien Books and writer Mauro Mantella sincerely apologized for the harm caused by the phrasing. Number one, while the story takes place in a fictional world of vampires and cults, we understand that a specific line of dialogue has been read as alluding to real-world issues, specifically the discrimination faced by trans people. That was never the intention. The original line was written by an Argentinian creator and was unfortunately a case of nuance being lost in translation. We fully recognize that intent does not erase impact, especially when dealing with the subject matter that affects real lives and communities. We are taking the following steps immediately. The dialogue in question will be updated for digital and collected editions to better reflect intended fictional context. Going forward, all scripts will undergo a more intensive review by our proofreaders as part of our editorial process to ensure clearer, more responsible storytelling. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that response, right? Because the second part, the things they're going to do in response to it, I like that. That's good. There is a version of this where they wouldn't have lost me as a reader for the time being anyway. At least with current management and editorial, they've lost me. But there is a version of this that they could have done where me and I imagine many others who are not going to be putting any money down on Valiant right now. So, okay. It is possible. I feel like the only halfway, not excusable, but like, okay, I guess that's an understandable slip through the cracks kind of thing, is if your editor simply isn't aware of these talking points on the internet and when it comes to trans people and stuff, which is, there's a lot of people that aren't, they're not necessarily transphobic, but they also don't know all the fucking shit that chuds might say about trans people, like, the irreversible change to kids crap, right? That's possible. But telling us that this writer didn't mean this is bullshit. My bullshit detector just will not fucking go off. Stop going off. It's complete and utter bullshit. It's a fucking lie. I think they're lying to us. I think that, and I've got some evidence as to why that is as well. But just based on what we've seen already, I'm sorry, man. There's no way that accidentally gets written like that. You know what I mean? Like, what could he have possibly intended other than what he wrote? It's very clear English. Like, no, I mean, I'm not saying that I know that that's what happened. I'm just saying that this is the range of possible things that happened, in my view. We cannot know for sure. We do not have evidence of what happened. So the best we can do is define a window of most likely things. I haven't looked into the editor yet. I should do that because maybe I'll find something with the editor that I've found with the writer. Let's look at some stuff from the writer. Okay, here we go. Here's a post from the writer's social media. It's a repost, but there it is. Right? Do you think that he accidentally? Oh yeah, the writer needs to be fired. There's no reason for this writer to continue to be working at the book. Like, that's the thing that it pisses me off. It's so fucking obvious what needs to happen here. If what I believe is going on is that I don't believe that Editorial is necessarily like, I don't think they were like, yeah, let's get this trans messaging through here. And now they're like, oh, sorry. No, I don't think that's what happened. Probably not. I think that they probably were a little blindsided as well because they just weren't doing very good oversight on that kind of thing, which is a fault. That is their fault. But they're, like what we talked about, they are literally trying to relaunch the line right now. This is all the fucking cards are on the table for Valiant, who has, as we said, struggled historically a lot to fucking, every little bit they gain, every book they put out is fucking tooth and nail. They're fighting, clawing at the fucking, edge of bankruptcy to fucking get it done, right? They are not a corpo-backed sure thing at all. These books were not even, these books I think are supposed to start coming out like earlier in the year, by the way. They didn't even, it's like they just put them out when they can, kind of thing. They are not a very well-off company. Me and Bob of the old ways both believe in the characters and a lot of the stories, the world building. I believe that there's some version of reality where they could become more successful and beloved and stuff. Not likely, and definitely, it's not going to happen now. I think that what's happening is that the editor is trying his best or her best to save face in what could be just a bullet to the head of Valiant's fucking, attempts to come out of the gate strong here, right? So, yeah, I don't buy it. I think the only solution that I would have been halfway comfortable with continuing to be interested in the books is fire the writer for sure. Just he's a transphobe. He did this on purpose. It's clear. You have to be an idiot to think that he accidentally did this. And then that's it really. Like, fire the writer and maybe fire the editor. You know what I mean? For not catching it, or at least put the editor through some kind of training that will, make them more aware of the types of talking points that, fascists and bigots use and stuff. I don't know. Same. Yeah. I mean, at least one needs to roll. For sure. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Yikes. Uh-oh. So Morrow deleted his Twitter account. But apparently not in time to stop people from finding this stuff. Yikes, man. There he is. There's Morrow. And this is what happens, Valiant. This is what happens whenever you fucking stand by your guy like this. You look fucking bad, dude. So yesterday, news about a seemingly transphobic bit of narration to the official kickoff of Valiant Beyond initiative spread across a bit of social media from Reddit to Blue Sky. Alien Books, publisher Valiant, was quick to issue an official statement apologizing on behalf of themselves and writer. Per unearthed tweets, it seems Mantello has been reposting anti-trans and other dicey posts on X, formerly known as Twitter, for a few years now. So while many online were quick to point out that Mantello's official bio on Simon & Schuster's author page touts that he is an Argentinian comic book writer and translator, I didn't know that. He's a translator, guys. He doesn't have any problems with fucking English and translating the link. Like, he literally is fucking okay. Comic book writer Joshua Dysart, he's worked for Valiant a lot, who previously wrote Harbinger, posted the following screenshot. And that's one we looked at. Meanwhile, Zoe Tunnel, the comic book writer who went viral yesterday on Blue Sky for reposting the offending panel, added a few of her own. I saw a few other real winners. When they're not at home, why are men being feminized? Yikes. Illuminati bot. Oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You got some well-known and some of my favorite creators here. You got Vita Ayala. They're fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I wish that I was confident enough to say either way. I don't want to, as I said, the editorial is definitely at fault here. Were they in the know? Are they aware of it? Did they? But I mean, like, why would you come out with such a full-throated defense of him? Ah, man. Both of the above posts are from Illuminati Bot, which you can probably figure out what the account is about for yourself. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, no. There's more. An additional tweet, per the user Human Person, is a video espousing basically every anti-trans, every LGBTQ opinion, alongside the previously detailed what feminists think the gender war is. Okay. So apparently this is just a video of yeah, which ones are ripoffs specifically of what? Which ones have you read? Because you're wrong. The closest thing to anything, and it's on the most founded, like, basic level, is Harbinger to X-Men. And it's very similar in that, yeah. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. Good point. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for keeping me on track. There you go. Jesus, what is this? Yeah, you see a lot of people are going right for the editor on this. I don't know, man. It's possible. This is really fucking upsetting. It's my first reaction is anger at this dude, just in general, for the fucking bigotry. Like, come on, man. Fuck. Don't be a fucking bigot. Like, but then it morphs pretty quickly into just this goddamn disappointment of people and of, as a fan, I want to see good things be appreciated. I held off on trying Valiant for a long time because I had a lot of assumptions and presumptions about what it was, what it wasn't, and I was wrong about a lot of stuff. It was definitely something that it's not like Marvel and DC. To say that there's just ripoff is crazy. The world is much more grounded, oddly. The stories are don't need to get into it, but I guess it's going to be it for me on that for now, as far as Valiant goes. Yeah, that's about where I stand. Let's see. All the reposts seem to be from 2023. An independent check of Mantella's Twitter feed this morning. Most of the above were screenshots shared last night. Shows that most of these reposts are no longer present, meaning they were either altered in some way or the posts were unreposted given the continued online furor. While most of Mantella's remaining Twitter feed from the past few years is concerned with gaming memes and promoting his own comic book work, we reviewed posts going back to 2021 and the work of others. A few curious reposts per the above remain. One calls out plummeting testosterone rates and seems to be referencing either wearing masks and or the COVID pandemic. Another, also reposted, shows a meme equating COVID and vaccines with the Ukraine and UFOs. What? What? The Alien Books and Mantella have promised to do better in their statement. Yeah, I mean that'd be honestly. I hesitated. I don't know what to do about this because, you know, I kind of want to reach out to AJ Ampadu, and I doubt he would be. He's probably not forbidden from discussing this, maybe, but I doubt he would want to because look, the dude just got 10 out of 10 on his Shadow Man Beyond #1 from AIPT in a review. He's doing great work. Okay. He's not fucking being a bigot at all. He's just writing cool ass stories. He's over there doing his thing. He's a good guy. And this is not his lane. I mean, it's not his issue. He didn't do this. It's nothing to do with him. But at the same time, he is, in my view, the ideal representative of any comic book company, working at a comic book company. He's fucking phenomenal. And I kind of want to just, you know, I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to see if, you know, maybe he watches this. Sometimes he checks in. AJ, if you happen to see this and it's something you want to talk about, whether, you know, on stream or not, privately or not, let me know. I just definitely would love to hear your thoughts on it. I mean, obviously, I know it's not good. I don't believe you're going to say anything surprising there. But yeah, I'd love to know what his idea of the way forward here would be. And yeah. In my view, here's my opinion. I think Bob shares this. Just fire Mantella, whatever. Give the book to AJ Ampadu. In fact, I believe they also, here's another thing. They also hired Mike Barron for a book. That's not great. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. So Alien Books seems to have a problem here. And, you know, Valiant can't help but who it was bought by. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, honestly, it's the more I think about it, this kind of might be, there is a possibility that this Bloodshot issue is all done intentionally, specifically to get the views that it's getting right now, to pull in the audience that would be aiming at, right? That is possible. I don't have any evidence of that, and so I don't like to make any claims without any evidence. But man, we live in a fucked up time where you know, everybody's trying to secure their nut, right? Everybody's trying to get their bag, and if Alien Books is a somewhat amoral actor, and they've done stuff like hire Mike Barron and whatnot, I'm going to do some digging. But nonetheless, it could be possible that somebody's like, hey, if we just do a little dog whistle here, and not even a dog whistle, just like a whistle, like a transphobe whistle, maybe we'll get some of these chuds by the book, and we'll be off to a good start in our new relaunch. That's the thing that could have happened. I'm just saying. I don't know how likely, unlikely, I don't know. Do they have good genes? Yeah, man. I was planning on checking them out once they had a few issues out each. What did Mike do? I mean, for one thing, he's Comicsgate. For another thing, he turned the Punisher black in the 90s. I mean, you know, like literally the only example of a character actually being race swapped, right? Chuds complain about it all the time. They're like, oh, the race swap. There's never actually been a race swap. The character, it's not like Steve Rogers is Sam Wilson. They're two different guys, right? The one time that it did happen at Marvel in the 90s, it was by a comic skater, Mike Barron, in the Punisher title, where he literally made the Punisher, Frank Castle, into a black man. So here's you can go check out the subreddit and kind of get an idea of what people are saying here. Like, you got to think the people that are in this subreddit are hardcore fans generally, because it's Valiant, right? Like, there's not like a strong, huge community online where Valiant people get together, but you know, a lot of people saying the same thing. Wording is too specific. Here's where some idiot tried to, you know, probably referencing the infinite dumb trends kids have participated in since time immemorial, like the Tide Pod Challenge or the Cinnamon Challenge. I don't remember a lot of parents getting their kids to eat Tide Pods to feel more modern or whatever. Parents never force their children into an irreversible change of eating Tide Pods or doing the Ice Bucket Challenge. That phrasing only has one meaning and also happens to be spouted verbatim by right-wing fearmongers. It's true. And there's actually a book, apparently. Morgan tipped me off to this as well. There's a book called Irreversible Damage that is a transphobe pseudoscience bullshit book, you know, which is very, very close to irreversible change. That's true. That's true. Yeah, like the test here is to try to think about anything else that it could be talking about. You know. Yeah, two-pointed. It's just, yeah, the writer is a goddamn professional translator. This is a great point. A better writer could have presented this idea without the offense in a better way, because the idea of people wanting to be vampires as a trend is totally believable and already been done a lot, by the way. Familiars is an old concept. So I have something else to look at that I found that maybe if you already watched the Blurred video or stream about this, I bet he didn't do this. So new take here. Hold on a second. In the meantime,
this is a minute. It's mainly what it is, you know. Because if you really cared about people coming over the right way, the legal way, then you would make the right way and the legal way clear, and you wouldn't kidnap people at their green card interviews, and you wouldn't have like mass people picking people up after baseball practice, okay? If that's what you cared about. And you also, you know, you've structured this thing to make these people seem like monsters. That's been the plan this entire time, because if somebody is a monster, it is part of the human condition and a flaw that we have. As long as we see somebody as a monster, whether they are or not, we don't really care what happens to them. You know? It's why they can make conditions in prison so bad, because the assumption is, well, everybody that's there deserves to be there, so screw them, right? If they don't have a clean water, or if they can't shower, or if their food's contaminated, good. Because they did something bad to earn that place, right? And it helps you strip the basic humanity of looking at another person, whether they've made a mistake or not, or looking at another person, whether from a different country or not. And if you get really good at stripping that humanity away, you can do whatever you want, and then you start to be able to do whatever you want to anybody that you want. And that's what's been creeping up this entire time. What started as like, guys, they're eating the dogs. Remember, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Nobody's pets are safe. It was getting so dumb. It was past like, these are criminals and they're killing us and they're coming over here to do terrible things. And then it started to morph a little bit more. Okay, look, I know that they're going through the proper channels and everything, but they have a misdemeanor in another country. Do we really want somebody like that to become a citizen? Maybe we should deport them now. No, I understand that they have their green card, but they also, I don't know, they have this weird past I don't like, or they wrote an op-ed I didn't like, or they said a thing that I didn't like. So do we really want someone like that in our country? I know that they are a fully naturalized citizen, but the way that they became a citizen is a little bit under suspect, because I said so just now. So maybe we'll deport them. And now we're all the way to the point that American citizens that I do not like can be gone. And so you see, when you let somebody's humanity get stripped away over and over and over again, and it's in the back of your head, and you even go with the lie. They probably did something, or maybe they shouldn't have done that thing, or maybe they have a good reason. When you do that enough and it finally comes for you, don't be surprised.
Damn. Well, yep. All right, here's this. Post from Ibrahim Mustafa, comic book creator. 3 years ago, I was developing a BLOODSHOT Ninjak story. Link to what? Let's see. Oh yeah, developing a BLOODSHOT Ninjak story. It's on YouTube. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to find it, man. I'm sorry. I just look up. What's his name? I'll look it up for you. He's on the Daily Show. He does. Every fucking week he puts out like an hour-long special talking about like doing stand-up about the news of that week. I'll have to look in a minute, man. That would just distract me right now from this, but yeah, developing a BLOODSHOT Ninjak story, and gonna toot my own horn for a second. It was fucking good. Went through multiple revisions due to the ever-changing minds of the bosses at Valiant, all while my dog was dying. Here's why I know they will be heavy-handed with edits if they want. I remember being on a Zoom call on my birthday just days after my beloved pup passed, as they asked for the third unpaid overhaul of the story because management changed their mind. I'm trying to keep it together and be professional. Nobody knew, and I'm smiling my way through it. At first, I was told BLOODSHOT could not be in it because they didn't have the movie rights. And didn't want to spotlight him because of that. But Editorial thought their most popular character should be in it, so I should sneak him into a supporting role. Okay, got it. Done. Wrote the treatment. Then it changed to, he should be the co-lead. Okay, sure. Let me just rework that between trying to save my dog's life. This is all spec work, mind you. Never got paid a dime because this is supposed to be a book that was destined to get made. Okay, now BLOODSHOT would be the lead, actually. What? So I jumped through yet another hoop. I have to rework the entire story. Changing the lead overhauls everything, but I do it, and I do it well. At this point, it's fully fleshed out, 4 or 5 issue outline. Again, not getting paid for all this work. Comics. So now my dog is dead, and I'm fucking shattered. The news comes in that because Valiant has taken a previously booming company and turned it into a loss leader, they're consolidating their publishing schedule from like 3 books to just 1, and my book is being axed. Hopefully, we'll come back to it. The editors feel bad. They offer me a variant cover to at least put some money in my pocket, even though I still have to do the work of drawing the cover, so it's not a compensation at all. I'm still like, sure, because I like these people. Then that falls through, and most of them leave or are fired within weeks. What a wild, disappointing way to learn that BLOODSHOT is back in print. Knowing how fucking heavy-handed they were with me at every step, then claiming accidental ignorance is crazy work. Different editors, but in my experience, the owners can be extremely stringent with BLOODSHOT when they want to be. I said this before, as a marginalized creator from one of the most underrepresented ethnic groups in mainstream comics and NPCs to most of the world, I have to try so much harder to be good and visible while shitheads get spotlighted and are allowed to fuck up, be hateful, etc. This is one of those times. Yeah. Anyway, not to make it about me, just wanted to share my experience and the kind of oversight they're capable of and how they can easily extinguish a book that wasn't hateful and problematic. Alien is a subcontractor for Valiant's owner, but he's still the boss. Yeah. So, you know, I think that does shed a little bit of light on this. That you know, there's no, it seems like it's different editorial, like literal people, but the operation is totally capable of being on top of shit and demanding changes, you know, left and right, willy-nilly. This guy named his son Magnus. That's pretty neat. Right there. Anyway. All right. Well, that was about it, guys. That was really what I wanted to cover. It's that's the whole shebang. And not that any of you were buying Valiant before, but if you were, let me know. And let me know if you're going to continue, or if you were planning on getting into this and now you're not, or if you still are. No harsh judgments, maybe some judgments, but not super harsh ones. I'd like to hear your reasonings if you still want to read it or whatever. But yeah, what do you guys think? What should we do? We burn it down? What do we do? Damn, what's going on here?
I have peers, you know, people in my business who were single issue Republican voters, and their issue was you know, twofold. I mean, they were anti-woke, you know, against any policy or language that could help the vulnerable get a leg up, and God knows that makes sense. So, but they also were very worried about their free speech. They didn't want.
I think there's rights issues with Turok, actually, so they haven't published any Turok since the 90s, I don't believe. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the thing, is I don't know, is Alien Books kind of a if not fashy, then a soft on bigotry kind of company? Because I don't want to support that at all if they are. You know? I would say that they'd probably be more at home at Marvel. That's just my take. I don't really haven't thought of why that is. It's a vibe that I feel like they would slot easier into that. It's also because I've seen how DC has fumbled the Wildstorm shit over and over again, trying to, you know, get them to fit into their world. So like, I kind of don't trust them with that kind of thing. I mean, they could also just publish it as completely different, like a sub line, like its own line, you know, Marvel Valiant or whatever the fuck.
Want their free speech to be infringed upon, which it never was. I mean, they'd say things and there'd be cultural pushback, and they were like, that shouldn't be allowed. But ultimately, all they really wanted was to be able to say the R word with impunity. That was why they voted. But along with that, you know, comes the collapse of the federal government, the destabilization of the global economy, tens of thousands of people being deported to places they might not have even come from, the actual suppression of speech and rights of LGBTQ people and women, and the rise of authoritarianism. And sometimes I feel like asking them, was it worth it, you fucking retard? And I guess some of them would be like, yeah, it was, because now on our podcast we can bravely speak power to truth. Now that truth can no longer defend itself.
Bravely speak power to truth. That's fucking brilliant. I mean, easier said than done, right? Because Alien owns them. They call the shots, apparently. So they have? Really? When? Is that true? What? I did not know that. I don't think that happened. So here's the crossovers that Valiant has done. The first crossover. Oh no, it was. Yeah, they did their wow, you're right. In Coyote number 6 and 7 by Marvel, and Exo Manowar number 3 in 1992. Then there was Predator versus Magnus Robot Fighter in 93. Then there was Deathmate, which was Image Valiant crossover. And there was Magnus Robot Fighter Nexus. Then there was Bloodshot Jack Frost. The Caliber Comics. Wow. That's it, seems like. That's true. They're so small. I really like. I knew that there was the Image stuff, but I forgot about anything else. You're right. Yeah, that's true. Man, it kind of seems like did Magnus Robot Fighter kind of wear a skirt, right? Like, did he wear a skirt? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, dude rocked a skirt, right? Oh yeah, he's rocking a skirt for sure. Look at this. He's been wearing it for a long time too. Try and find a good one here. Okay, it's a tunic, whatever. It looks like a skirt, man. Come on, give me the skirt. Let it be a skirt. Bloodshot is a fictional character and didn't do anything exactly. The writer slipped in some bigotry, not even subtle bigotry, into the dialogue of the first issue of the new series. So you can go back to the beginning of the stream and check that out if you want. Look at that skirt. I mean, there's something to be said for a dude that, you know, can bust up a bunch of robots while wearing a skirt. It's kind of based. Yes. Oh. He's wearing DeSantis boots. Oh, man. Poor guy. He's from another era when dudes wore skirts, you know? Come on now. Come on. I'm going to fuck up a bunch of robots while wearing a skirt. I dare anybody to say anything about it, you know? Like Zap Brannigan, yeah. Oh, by the way, update. Yeah, true. Trump did not, once again, he did not seal the deal and end the war in Ukraine. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I know we were all counting on it. We all we just knew he was going to do it, and he for whatever reason he didn't pull through. No fault of his own, I'm sure. He's very capable. He's proven that he knows what he's doing. And this time just a wind got away from him, and I don't know what to say. Sorry. And it's actually, some people are reporting, these are fake news, of course. They're reporting that actually Trump is giving Putin more time to do whatever he wants in Ukraine. So oh my God, you're right. Holy shit, man. That's, oh God damn it. He's like, as soon as they fire him, I'm gonna jump in there and I'm gonna pay him to do a really bad comic. So yeah, as everybody could have guessed, Trump's idea of making a deal to end the war is to give Putin everything he wants. So he demanded that Trump or Zelensky needs to make a deal. Zelensky rejected that demand. Zelensky to visit Trump on Monday with European backup. Europeans, they will they'll maintain the increased pressure on Russia. And look, in case you guys were not aware of the situation, Donald Trump he's a geopolitical mastermind, and this is what he had to say. He said, Ukraine should make a deal to end the war with Russia because Russia is a very big power and they're not. Oh, man. Analysis like that guy could be president someday or something, Hey, do we need to go to the chart and look at the Rippaverse sales again? Because I think that's the direction Valiant wants to avoid. At least if they go down with their own ship, for their own problems and not fucking tie themselves to the fucking sinking shit that is. I was about to say something fucked up there, but you know, I don't care. Or I do care. I'm not gonna say it. All right, guys. That's about all I got. All I have here. Yep, that's it. What are you guys doing? What are you wearing? You know? Tune in tomorrow, man. We're gonna be doing some content. You know, the usual same FAP time, same FAP channel, different content. We're gonna be doing talking about some alien, not alien books. Fuck them. Although we probably will end up mentioning them at least for a minute. Because fuck them. But we're gonna be talking about Alien, the movie, Alien and Aliens. Good shit. Okay. Okay, so we covered this back whenever he announced it, because Eric portrayed it as him getting the same kind of deal that Marvel gets, where he like, oh, they're sculpting a badass thing. No, he went to McFarlane's Toys, the company, and paid them the same way that you or I can go and pay them to make an action figure. You can do that. It's a service they provide. It costs a lot of money, you know, more than it's cost prohibitive to anybody that's not trying to turn around and make profit off of it or whatever. But like, you can do that. And that's what Eric July did. And then he portrayed it as him making some kind of exclusive partnership or whatever, which is not what happened. Okay. So just don't buy into the hype. It's the same thing anybody can do. Fuck is young Isom bullshit. Okay. Look, in fact, I have a video here that is a good visual metaphor for Eric July making badass comic books. Okay. Yeah, they did a commission. Exactly. So this is it's not Eric July making comic books, but it is how Eric presents himself making comics with a visual metaphor. And then I'm gonna be out of here. You guys have a lovely evening. Get some sleep and you know, eat some food, and that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'll see you here tomorrow. Here is